So let's go ahead and bring Miss Rory over here. And what do we currently set up on the remote?
Currently on 24.
24, let's go down to 15. So what we're gonna do is find the working number. So we have 3 levels. We have connection, perception, and the working. Connection would be Rory's looking at like a squirrel, and you see the twitch, but nothing is phasing her. Perception would be the twitch and like a little bit of like, what was that? And then working number would be the twitch and like, whoa, what was that? Okay.
Yeah.
And we always want to be operating at that working number because that's what's going to make things progress smoothly. Okay. And the working number is going to change depending on the environment. So if like you're at, you know, a busy park with squirrels and rabbits and dogs and people versus like a quiet neighborhood, you're going to have different working numbers.
Sure.
Okay. So don't get married to a number. It's going to change according to what's going on. So I'm going to help you find the number for here. So when I say the word tap, you're going to press the bumpy button. Okay. And I'm going to have you shorten your leash just a little bit more. And then I'm going to have you do your best to just anchor yourself. So if Rory starts to move, don't like move with her. You just want to anchor, okay? So tap, tap, tap. Maybe perception there, 20. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, so we definitely have connection because I can see a little twitch. Okay, let's go 25. Tap. Wait a moment. Tap. Tap. Right there. Okay. So it's not the biggest movement, but you can see where she tried to lay down. Then she maybe don't lay down. Then she's like, do I lay down? Right. So we're going to start with 25. Okay. Now, as you start walking with her, that number may change because walking in itself can be a distraction for dogs. Whether you're walking, they're like, oh, we're walking, and then you start to forge everywhere. Okay. Now we train dogs traditionally on the left. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Are you right-handed?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're right-handed, left is easier.
I'm fine with the left though. That's perfectly fine.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the exercise first, and then I'm going to coach you through it, okay? So there's going to be 3 things that I'm going to be, 3 directions I'm going to be giving out. Turn, tap, and pull to the left, okay? So when I say turn, whenever Rory gets ahead of you, I'm going to say the word turn, you're going to 180 to the immediate right like this, okay? She's going to pass you. I'm going to say turn. You're going to 180 to the right like this. And every time I say turn, it will always be 180 to the right, okay? With the exception of one time or two, I might say go inwards or go left, but it's super rare, okay? Then I'm going to say tap. So we're going to pair these things together, the turn and the tap. Rory gets ahead, turn, tap, tap, tap. Good. She gets ahead, turn, tap, 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 tap. Good. She gets ahead, turn, tap, 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 tap. Good. Okay, we're gonna keep
So are
repeating.
you saying when she hits about your leg or back with you, you stop tapping?
Correct.
Okay.
And when you hear me say good, it's more for you to recognize what it is that she's doing that I like. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say is pull to your left. So as you're walking, if Rory goes to your right side, you'll keep moving forward, pull to your left, and I will say tap at the same time, tap, tap, right? Until she leaves your right side over to your left side.
Okay.
Okay? Questions?
Sounds like it's going to be, I can't wait to see Dean do that.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is go ahead and turn so that she's on your left side.
And should I have the leash
She's
in
on
my
your left
left
side.
hand?
I'm backwards
Yep.
right now. I'm
She's
sorry.
good.
What's that?
Should I have the leash in my left hand?
Yeah, you're gonna have your leash in your left hand, and when it comes to how much slack you're gonna give, go ahead and give some slack here, right there, and then go ahead and hold the leash and then relax, and then stand right next to Rory here. Okay. So if you look at the bottom of your leash here, you see how there's like a little bit of a J,
Yeah.
and you see at the bottom of the J, it's kind of by where her armpit is at,
Yeah.
right? That's like the perfect length for the training. Okay.
Okay.
So most people tend to restrict the leash when they try to train the heel. I give the dog the leash in order to give them the opportunity to make mistakes, so we can teach them what they're not supposed to do and what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
Okay. Other questions? You excited?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's hope that I know what I'm doing.
You did great.
So here, go ahead and start walking forward.
Okay.
Turn, tap, tap. Good. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Keep forward. Yep. Pull to your left. Tap, tap. Keep straight. Yep. Forward. Relax your arm. Turn. Tap, tap. Good. turn, tap, tap, good. Pull to your left, tap, good. Turn, tap, 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 good. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Pull to your left, tap, good. Let's go bump it to 30. And turn when you're ready. Tap, tap, good. Pull to your left, tap, tap, good. Turn, tap, 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 good. Turn, tap, 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 good. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Let's go to 35. Turn, tap, tap, good. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Pull to your left, tap, tap, good. Turn, tap, good. Forward, tap, good. Keep forward, good. Turn, tap, 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 good. Turn, tap, tap, tap forward, tap, tap, good. Turn, tap, tap, good. Tap forward, good. Tap, tap, good. Let's go to 40.
So are we going up because is she like getting used to it, or?
Yeah, so when she's moving, the collar is moving, plus she's like, you know, distracted and stuff. So that's why I said your working number may be different from when you're stationary to when you start walking. So all this is normal. Okay, and turn, tap, good. Turn, tap, good. Keep your arm relaxed, good. Forward, good. Turn, tap, good. Keep forward. Good, keep forward. Tap, tap, keep forward. Tap, turn forward. Yep, there you go. Tap forward, good. Turn, tap, keep your arm relaxed. Good. Keep forward, tap, tap. So, tap, try not to pull. Only pull when I say pull to the left.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Turn, no pull, tap. Good. Keep forward, tap. Good, no pull. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Keep forward, tap, tap, tap. Now here, light, there you go. Forward, tap, tap. There you go. Good. Good. Keep forward. Good. Tap. Good. There you go. Now slow turn here. Good turn, forward, good. Pull left, tap.
So should I keep her on my left?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
There you go, there you
Pull
go.
left.
Good, now relax, good. Keep forward, good. Tap forward, tap, keep forward, tap, 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 good. It's okay, pull left, tap, pull left, there you go. Now turn, good. Pull left, tap, you got it, good. Relax, keep forward, good. Good, keep forward, good. Slow turn. Good turn, pull left, tap. Good, keep forward. Slow, turn. Good. Let's go down to 35.
Okay.
Good, forward.
Oop.
There you go.
All right.
Tap, tap. Good. Slow turn. Good. Good. Keep straight. Good. Tap. Tap. You got it. Keep forward. Good. Good. Slow turn. Tap. Good. Keep forward. Right. Good. Keep forward. Tap. Tap. Good. Keep forward. Keep forward. Okay. Pull your leash. Good. Give. Yep. Perfect.
All right.
Slow turn. Tap. Good. Good. Keep straight. Good. Tap. Tap. Good. turn, good. Tap forward, good. Pull left, tap, there you go, good. Slow turn, tip, good. Keep forward, good. Pull left, tip, good. Slow turn, good. You got it. Keep forward, tap, good. Pull left, tap, good. Turn, tap, good. Turn, tip, good. Now slow turn. It's okay, keep forward. Now slow walk here. Slower, stop. Lightly pull forward, tap. Good. Right there. I'm gonna pause right there. What are you seeing?
I'm sorry.
What are you seeing?
What am I seeing?
Mm-hmm.
She likes to wander. She likes to wander on both sides.
In the beginning she did. Now there's a reason why she's pulling over here. Do you know why?
Yeah. Well, you, but all the dogs as well.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's both, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's mainly him, because she's looking for comfort there, okay? And you're doing pretty good. You have a habit of using
Yeah.
your arm a lot, right? It's super common because people are so used to restricting their dog or like using the leash to pull them. And what we're wanting Rory to learn here is when she feels the collar, it's to find the left side.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you're doing only one type of turn, and it's this turn, because turning to the right will bring a dog to your left. Turning to the left will bring the dog to your right. Okay, so we're making it super simple. So we went from, what was it, 25 I think it was, up to 40, then back down to 35, right? And she's for the most part responding to a single tap because she's getting used to what it is and associating what she's supposed to do in response in order for it to go away. So we're teaching what we call pressure on, pressure off. Okay, pressure on when we need her to do something or stop doing something, pressure off when she complies.
Sure.
Okay, so the reason why we give the leash here is I need Rory to do the wrong thing. Okay, so most people when they try to teach the heel will correct the dog and they'll say like no and like remote them or yank them. The dog jumps back and they'll go heel and they'll keep walking and the dog gets ahead and they'll go yank, no, heel. They'll keep doing that, right? But the dog can't connect that together, and you'll see it where the dog will look at the person, and then it's just like we're going the same way. So why am I being corrected, right? So here, by giving her the slack, she can get ahead of you. So for Rory, she feels this, and she goes, "I don't like this." She turns around. Oh, mom's going that way. She catches up. It disappears. But then she would pass you again, and it'd start tapping.
Yeah.
Oh, now she's going that way. And when she caught up, it would disappear, right? So we call it the correct and redirect. Don't go that way, I'm going this way, okay? So she has to have something to attach to, and it has to be very clear, like super obvious for the dog in order for them to understand, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing,
Sure.
okay? So with the pulling, the reason why you don't want to do the pulling is because then you're doing all the work, right? So if you're turning like this, so I started saying slow turn, right? And then the reason why I said slow turn is because I could see Rory starting to follow your lead. So by going slow, she should be able to turn with you. But on some of them, because you're used to pulling the leash, you'd already start putting tension on her. So she wasn't getting the opportunity to actually follow you. Okay? So everything we do here is to get the dog to make a decision. Okay, so in my opinion, e-collar is the only tool that can make a dog think they're making a decision. Because they don't know where it's coming from.
Sure.
They just know when they do a certain thing, it goes away. Does that make sense? So if I do all the stuff physically, I do all the work. Dog learns nothing. So we always give that slack and use the pressure at a number, because no one likes to be in an uncomfortable situation, right? So growing up, we had like peer pressure. If you guys drive, you ever had someone like when they're real close to your bumper, it makes you feel uncomfortable, right? That's pressure, that's spatial pressure. Here we're using remote pressure. Okay, so we're making her feel uncomfortable, and then she's like, what's going on? I don't like this. Oh, mom's going that way. And she catches up, it disappears. So she's going, oh, if I favor this pocket here, there's no pressure. So I can avoid it by simply staying in this pocket,
Right.
right? And on some of them, where she started to venture off this way, you would tap her, and you could see her just turn in and start moving towards your leg,
Yeah.
right? Questions?
No, makes perfect sense.
Nope. So we're gonna do another little back and forth, and then we're gonna swap handlers, okay?
Okay.
So let's go ahead and get her back in position.
Yeah, Peter. All right. You're done now.
There you go. And forward, tap. Good. Pull to your left, tap. Good. Pull to your left, tap. And then turn when you're ready. Yep, keep, tap, tap, tap. You got it, good. Keep forward, good. Tap forward, good. Turn, good. Keep forward, tap, good. Tap forward, good. Go ahead and fix your leash, it's okay.
Poor Steve.
Good, and relax and forward, tap, good. Turn, pull to your left, tap, good. There we go. Tap forward, good. Yep, keep forward, you got it. She thought about it there. Tap forward, good. Turn, good. Tap forward, good. Pull to your left, tap, good. Turn, good. Go and speed up a little. Good, now slow walk, then turn. Good, slow walk but keep forward. Tap, right, good, keep forward, good. Go ahead and speed up. Then turn, good turn. Go ahead and speed up again. Now slow. Good, slow turn. Good. Going to pick up your pace. Tap. Good. Pull to your left. Tap. Good. Slow. Slow turn. Tap. Good. Go and pick up your pace.
Doing awesome. Good job.
Now slow. Turn. Slow walk, but keep forward. And slower. And stop. Okay. Here, go ahead and lightly pull left here. Tap. 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 Tap.
To get her on my other side.
Yeah, tap, tap. Go ahead and move forward a little bit. Tap. There we go. Good. Right there. Okay. Because we want to be very black and white on where we want her to land. So with the rule of heel, if you train heel on the right, then it's always on the right. If you train heel on the left, then it's always on the left, right? When we're doing that command. Now, can you move her to your right? Yes. So like, let's say you're walking, she's on your left side, and you see a dog who's not so friendly. And her on the inside and that dog on the inside, not going to be good. You can move her to your right because life is not letting you keep to the rule of heel, right? So that would be an exception. But for the dog's sake, it has to be consistent because she's not going to distinguish between, oh, tap this time means to go to the right side and this time means to go to the left side, unless we were to cue them two different things, okay? And then we have to also teach them as two separate things. So here we're making it real consistent. When you feel the tap, come to the left side. So here on one of them, you're walking slow and she started drifting off and you tapped, and again, you saw her just go straight into that left leg, right? The jumping that you were seeing is a stress response to the pressure, okay?
Yeah, she does that sometimes at dog parks when a bunch of dogs swarm her at once. She just tries to like jump into our arms.
Sure, so it's too much pressure for her, and in that space, that's social pressure, okay? So here in this context, if we stop in response, or go, oh, like we feel bad and we stop the exercise, or we console her or try to console her, you're actually telling her, yes, you should be, you should feel this way in response to the pressure. So instead, we use the thing that she's seeking comfort from, which is pressure, to correct her, right? So she's like, get me away from this. And then you're like, tap. And she's like, oh, crap. I just got that thing I'm trying to get away from, right? So eventually, after a few of those corrections, she learned like, oh, okay, like just move with it, right? So there's no avoiding stressors in life. Stress is just a part of it, right? Here, what we're doing is we're actually building confidence. Because dogs are physical animals. They bite each other. Okay, this is physicality. So you're technically biting her, and this helps. So like when I get fearful, insecure, or nervous dogs, people tend to stay away from like corrections and stuff like that, and it keeps the dog in this like kind of little insecure bubble. And then we start putting them under pressure, and then you start to see them get really insecure because they don't know how to handle it. But then when you work them through it, they go, oh, I can handle it, and I can deal with it, and I can move through it. Okay, and that's how we build that confidence. So here, we're not being forceful, we're not being mean, we're not yanking her all over the place. We're just simply directing her and guiding her in response so she knows and learns how to turn it off. Okay. So when you're at the correct number, and once the dog starts to get the concept, which is she's already getting the concept already, it's all about the number. Okay, that's the most common thing that I see, is that what holds people back and how far they get in their training and how well their dog listens is the number. Okay, because you're logical, and some people's numbers go up. They're like, I have a dog, she's a 15-pound Aussie Doodle. She comes to daycare. She just had her second class, and we were doing heel. We were like at 70, 80, okay, out of 127. Now her model, of course, is meant for dogs her size, but the owner's like, holy crap, right? But the thing was, she'd be walking and she'd see dogs playing, and she'd be looking, and you see the contract, and she'd even jump a little, but she'd still be like this, right?
Well, it wasn't enough to deter.
It wasn't enough, right? But someone would think, oh, but it's such a small dog, they shouldn't need a lot of power. And I go, no, it's all about the dog. You know, size of dog, breed of dog, personality type, nervous, anxious, fearful, none of that stuff matters. Every dog is different, okay? So here for Rory, when you're working outside, let's say you're working with her and you're like, man, it's not as straightforward as it was at Jesse's, probably too low. Okay, that's the most common thing, is probably too low. And I'll give you at the end of the class a kind of a structure on how to recognize when to bump it.
Sure.
But we generally go with a dog her size and jumps of about 5. Okay, and if you land like, if you go from 40 to 47, like that's fine. You know, the 44, that's fine. It's just a general range.
Sure.
Okay? Questions about any of this so far?
No?
Nope. Let's go and swap handlers. Hey, Elias. I think someone piddled. I think someone peed. All right. So we're at 35, right?
We're at 35.
Let's go and go down to 30.
Good. Okay.
Good. And then forward. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. And turn. Turn. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. Slow turn. Good. Pull to your left. Tap. Good. And relax. Good. Keep forward. Good. Slow turn. Tap. Good. Going to relax your arm. Good. Tap forward. Good. Turn. Good. Now slow here. Good. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Tap. Good. Good. Slow turn. Good turn. Pull left. Tap. Tap. Good. There you go. Good. Slow turn. Tap. Good. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Good. Now slow. Good. Pick up your pace again. And turn. Good. Now slow walk here, but keep forward. There you go. Keep forward. Yep. Slower. Tap. 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 Forward a little bit. Tap. Tap. Good. Slow again. And stop. Good. So you see all this right here. Okay. So turn how you were. Lightly pull forward. Tap. 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 Let's go 35. And tap. Tap. Right there. Okay. And we're gonna ignore this, go to just step aside. Right there. Okay. So we call that shutdown or resistance, right? Where she, again, like it's pressure. And she goes, I can't handle it. So she stops a little bit earlier. You can see how she's ducking her head and stuff, right? So right there, most people would step back to go next to the dog. And we always want the dog to accommodate us, okay?
That's why you step forward one.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the 30 wasn't working, then you went to 35, and then she went, okay, now I'll move forward, okay? So this is a whole thing where I mentioned earlier, it's like it's only until they can make a dog think they're making a decision.
Right.
Because I'm giving that direction, and I'm just slowly going up in increments of 5. And eventually, so like, we get dogs that just will shut down, and they try to melt, okay? And most people or trainers will lay off the pressure. But if you don't work them through it, it always remains an option. So if it remains an option, then we have unreliable obedience, okay? Because the dog just goes, I don't want to do it. And we go, okay, let me reset. Let me do something else, right? And the dog goes, oh, cool, I don't have to do it, right? So when we get that stuff, 50, I'm not 50, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, I keep going up. And eventually the dog goes, fine, boom, and they move forward. And then I dip back down to like 25 if that was the number.
Sure.
So then the dog shuts down again. And then maybe instead of having to go to 65, I only have to go to 50. And the dog, so we're breaking the resistance, and it gets easier and easier to work with each time. Because the dog is going, oh, I know where this is gonna go, right? And I've tried to outlast it, but I'm not gonna be able to. And eventually, the shutdown and the resistance stuff just goes away, because it's no longer an option.
Right.
Okay, so right there was a little tiny thing. You didn't have to go very high, you just went 30 to 35. And then right away, boom, within that first tap, she just moved forward and then sat down next to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you get used to, sitting all pretty here, once you get used to the logic of it, it really just makes sense, right? So, any questions so far?
No, it makes sense.
So with this exercise, the reason why we always start with the heel is because if you put a remote on the dog and you start tapping like we did earlier, you start to see them move around, and a lot of times they tend to move away. Okay, so we never want the dog to move away from the collar. Okay, if anything, we always want them to move to us. If they ever make a mistake, like I never want a dog to run away, right? So here, because it makes dogs move, we're using a moving behavior, aka the heel, to teach her how it turns on and how it turns off. So she gets to kind of release that need to move response, while at the same time learning what she's supposed to do when she feels it, okay? Also, leash pulling is like one of the most common things that people want to fix, or we get a lot of dog reactivity, so that's also something people want to fix. So heel fixes like 70 to 80% of problems, which is why we always teach that first, and then we start to work on other things, okay?
So do we actually say the word heel?
Right, so this week, we're not going to use the word heel. We teach that the second week.
Okay.
But what's going to turn this on is the remote. Okay, so like what you would do is you go out with Rory. You start off with the potty break. Don't worry about any of the training. Just potty break, pee and poop, get that out the way first.
Sure.
Once that's done, you would then find your working number. Maybe it's 30. And then you would start your walk. Okay? So let's say you're walking with Rory and she starts to pull ahead. You would turn, tap to correct her. Okay? And then you start going the other way. She passes you, turn, tap, and correct her, right? So you're essentially doing this exercise as you walk her. Okay, so if you walk for 10 blocks and Rory's at your side, we don't have to turn. And that's what we're trying to teach, is when she's, so the general, the frame of reference is right shoulder to left leg, okay? That's your reference. So if her right shoulder begins to go a little bit further than your left leg, that's technically considered passing. We would turn and correct to line her back up again, okay? In the beginning, people usually have a hard time kind of recognizing that because they're not trainers.
And it's so close. Yeah.
And then people tend to go like, this is so much better. This is so much better than my dog, right? Used to be before. And I'm like, well, it's not about how much they're not pulling or their distance or whatever. It's simply right shoulder to left hip. Okay, that's what it's supposed to look like. So the more you're able to recognize that closeness and the tightness of the inch, the better the obedience is going to be. Okay, so when Rory is paying attention to us, as a rule now, you always want to slow down before you turn and before you stop when she's paying attention. Okay, so you guys drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do before you stop?
Slow down.
What do you do before you turn?
Slow down.
Right, because we have other drivers, other vehicles, and they don't know what you're doing, right? So you have to either pump your brakes, slow down to let everyone know, hey, I'm slowing down, or put on your blinkers and slow down so you don't end up flipping your car and you don't cut someone off, right? There's more communication involved so that we prevent accidents from happening. Same thing with the heel, okay? If you just stop abruptly, she's gonna go. It's too abrupt. So it's kind of like if you just stop abruptly, you would expect whoever's behind you is gonna crash into you, right? Same thing here. So if you stop abruptly, even if she's in a heel, she's not gonna know when it's gonna happen. It's gonna catch her off guard. She's gonna keep going, okay? So that's technically a handler error. Same thing with the turn. If you just turn out of nowhere, she's not gonna catch it. She's gonna keep going. So when Rory is paying attention, right shoulder, left leg, walking beside you, no tension, we slow down, okay? If Rory is ahead of you, and that's already saying she's not paying attention, we just turn and tap to bring her back to your side.
Quick. Yeah.
Okay? On your turns, because she's already doing well, you're doing more rounded turns. Just remember, when you're doing a correctional turn, it's a 180 pivot straight back, like that. Okay, so it's super sharp.
Okay.
But when she's paying attention, and I would say slow turn, and you're turning like this, that is correct, because you're giving her the time to match you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Other questions?
No, the two turns is good.
Okay. So we're gonna do another little kind of back and forth here.
All right. You ready to go? You gonna go for a walk?
Forward. Yep. Good, and turn. Good, pull left, tap, good. Tap forward, good. Good, slow turn. Good turn. Good, you want to pick up your speed. Tap forward. Good. Slow turn. Good turn. Now slow walk here, but keep forward. Good. Slower. Good. Go ahead and pick up your speed. Good. Tap forward. Good. Slow turn. Tap. Tap. Good. Tap, good. Slow turn. Good. Good, slow turn. Good, slow walk here. Good, and stop. Good, turn, tap, 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 tap. Good. Let's go, we're at 30 now?
You're at 30, yeah.
Let's go 35 again.
Okay.
Yep, and relax your arm. There you go. Turn, tap. Good. Turn. Good, slow walk here. Slow to stop. Turn. Tap. Forward. Tap. 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 Good. Turn. Good. Slow walk again. Slower. Stop. Good. So you see that difference there, right? You have to repeat it. That was like the third time, right? So here she's like 80, 90%. Okay, on the first two, she kept going, and then like her nose also hit the ground. So when she's under this exercise or in this command, her attention should be on you. Okay, now here, she's not looking at you. She's looking at this, but she's sitting nice and polite, and she's right next to you. Okay, whereas earlier when you stopped, she kept going forward, and the nose was on the ground. Okay, so then you can. That's how I can determine where the dog is at mentally, because what do they do once they come to the stop? And then technically she should have stopped beside you from the get-go, right? So we tried 30 a couple times, 30 didn't work, we bumped it to 35, and then we saw that change. Okay, now her number could be a little bit more higher. So we went up like from 25 to 40, down to 35, down to 30, back to 35, up to 40. because she's getting acclimated to it, okay? So as she starts to recognize the collar better, the number may go down, the number can stay the same, and sometimes it goes up, okay? Her response to the collar is what dictates whether it goes up or whether it goes down, okay? So like it's as low as possible, but as high as needed, okay? So if like...
How many times would you say in an exercise like that? So we did 2, didn't get increase, she got it.
Yes.
Like, is 2 a good number? Like 2 strikes?
Sure.
By that third one, probably want to try something else? Or?
That's a good question. So what I do is I have a 3 tap or 3 correction rule, okay? So like earlier when we were finding the working number, it was, 20, tap, 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 no response. 25, tap, 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 no response.
So
30, right?
threes. I like that.
And then when it comes to corrections, think of it as, you guys into baseball? Okay, so I figured. Think of each correction as a strike.
Sure.
Okay, so 3 strikes, bump it. Okay, I'm gonna use that now.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now you got 3 outs too,
Yeah.
so that does the 3 and 3 works
There you
really
go.
well.
So if we do turn and tap, turn and tap, turn and tap, and you see she keeps going, we reset, bump it 5 levels.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing, turn and tap, turn and tap, no response, reset, bump it 5 levels. Okay,
Yeah.
so what ends up happening on that walk? So every walk you're gonna reset your number. Okay, because we're doing research right now. So I always set around 10 to 15 because that's where most dogs will start to feel it. So again, potty break, find the working number. Okay, 30, start your walk. Okay, and let's say every walk you always end up at like 50, 55. And then you notice, man, that's when Rory is perfect. We can walk for blocks at 50 to 55 and she makes little to no mistakes. And you do that for a week. Every single walk ends up at 50, 55. What does that tell us?
Probably closer to our working number.
Great. So then after a week of finding that out, then I go, okay, just start out at 50, 55. Start your walks out great from the get-go, okay? But in the beginning, we're trying to figure out, well, one, is she gonna get more sensitive? So then it might not, you might end up 50, 55 the first 3 days, and then the next 3 days it might be 40, 50, and then, after that it might be like 35, 40. The number can become lower as she gets more used to it, or it can stay static, or it can go up. Okay, so then when I see you next week, I'll ask you those questions, and you'll say, yeah, usually around 50, she's perfect. And I go, great, you can start off at 50 now. Okay, now whenever we teach something new, we're always going to reset it back down lower, because we have to find the number for that particular behavior, and then we work our way back up again.
Sure.
Okay, questions about this so far?
No, I thought she was doing really well. Both those sessions were
Yeah, and you can see
pretty comfortable. I think my arm just naturally, I never felt tense. Maybe I was just relaxing like that, but
Yeah.
I never felt like I don't think I pulled once that whole time.
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling.
So with being relaxed, we're used to this, just being up here, when really we should be down here. Give her a little bit of a pull and tap. Yeah, hold right there. Good, excellent, good, and that's fine. So here, I have my 80-20 rule, okay? So if you do an hour-long walk, 45 to 50 minutes is in that healing position. 10 to 15 minutes would be, okay, now you're free to pee, poop, do your doggy thing, okay? Your dog becomes what you practice with them. If they practice pulling wherever they want, peeing wherever they want, pooping wherever they want, sniffing everything, all that stuff, they become a do whatever you want kind of dog. But if we practice structure, discipline, and rules, and I give you permission, you're gonna get that kind of dog, okay? So here, dogs are better in smaller chunks. So 3 20-minute walks or 4 15-minute walks is really good. If all you have is 1 solid hour to practice, that's perfectly fine too. She would just take longer to learn the concept, okay? So smaller, multiple chunks is better. If you decide during the walk you want to give her another potty break, or maybe you've ran out of time and you need to get home, the word that we use is break. Okay, break means the job is done. So if I'm walking with Rory and I'm like, oh crap, I got to get back home, I'm in a rush, and I don't have the time to reinforce this, right? I come to a stop, she should stop with me, wait a moment, Rory, break, and then she can pull home, okay? It's not going to have any effect on the training, because it's kind of like working, especially when we employ the word heal next week, it's going to make a lot more sense.
Sure.
But think of obedience as clocking her in. Okay, when you say heel or when you say sit or when you say down or whatever, she's clocked into that command. Her job is to do that until given permission to be off the clock. Okay, so once you start your walk, as long as you don't start it and then just decide, nah, I'm not going to do this, in the middle of it, it's not going to have any effect. Okay, you would just say the word break. Break means you're off the clock, and then she can pull, do her doggy thing. She's free to go. Okay, if you decide, we're walking, we stop, we give her a potty break, and you're going to do another walk in the structured fashion, you would just start walking and tap, and we should see Rory come into that left side, and then it's on again. So the contraction is a non-verbal heel, right? She feels it. Yeah. She's learning like, oh, when I feel this, I come to the left side. Now it's time to walk in a polite fashion. Okay. There's no such thing as too much, in my opinion, because the walking helps alleviate stress, and we're not doing anything redundant. Because as long as she's walking at your side, you would just keep walking forward. Right. Okay.
Go wherever you want.
Yeah, we do some stuff that is redundant, and when we do, I'll always tell people like 3 to 5 minutes, 2 times a day. Super short, right? But with something like this, as long as she's at your side, you're not going to be tapping a whole lot. You're going to just be tapping as she gets ahead of you. Right. Okay. Questions about any of this?
No, I mean, it's very logical, and I think you're explaining it well.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I forgot here. That's pretty much it. The transference, right? When you started, how it was a lot of turning and like pulling her, and then some of the jumping and stuff. And then after a couple of reps, then we pass it off. How quickly that just transfers to the other person. So like, let's say you got a dog walker, and you're like, hey, do you mind reinforcing our training? And they're like, yeah, sure, just show me what to do. It would just transfer. The only thing that would inhibit it is if her number's like 45 and the dog walker feels bad and they only go to 25, then she's not going to do it because they're not reinforcing it at the level that she needs. Okay, but e-collar transfers very quickly. The person just needs to know what the levels are and what to do in response when she makes a mistake.
Sure.
Okay. When you're stationary, go ahead and lightly pull up here on your leash and tip. Right there.
Good girl.
She should technically automatically sit. Okay. Now I'm not going to worry about it too much this week because it's just the first week. However, if you want to reinforce that, you can. So here, all you did was lightly up on that leash and gave a tap. And the way their mechanics work is if you go up on the head, it brings the butt down.
Yeah.
Okay. So if she were to get up while you were stationary, you would automatically pull up and tap to bring her back into that sitting position. Okay. If she were to lay down, same concept, you would lightly pull up, tap to pop her up into a sitting position. So if she's laying down, she's not necessarily doing anything bad, but she's breaking from the command, right? So it's kind of like, well, if I can choose to lay down, then I can choose to pull, or I can choose to pee whenever I want, okay? So it's going to be more and more strict. So when you come to a stop, technically, she should sit. If she doesn't, let's see what she does here. Lightly up on your leash, tip, 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 and relax, right there, okay? So pressure on, right, because you start to lay down. We don't want you to lay down. Pressure off once she sits back up again, okay? Now, we don't say sit here, okay? So heel is going to be a package of things. Walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop, okay? So if you say sit, what ends up happening is when we bring in the word heel, is you'll say heel, sit, heel, sit, heel, sit, right? It's a lot of talking. So we put it all as one default response. When I say heel, walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. Okay, it's all automatic. And you can start that process of auto sits now. The exception being, let's say it's raining or really snowy out or whatever, and it's too uncomfortable for her to sit down. I don't worry about reinforcing as long as the dog is stopping at the owner's side and we're not dealing with like reactivity stuff or something like that.
Sure.
Okay. Otherwise, if it's a nice day, spring, summer, fall, whatever, and she can sit comfortably, we reinforce it. Okay. As you're stationary, her job is to keep that butt there until you start moving. Okay, so if you're at a red light, you come to a stop, she should put that butt down, otherwise reinforce it. You're waiting for it to turn green, she gets up, tap, reinforce it. Light turns green, okay, now we start walking again. Okay? Mm-hmm. Anything else?
So we'll just practice it exactly like this.
Yes, but you'll actually go on a walk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you won't limit yourself to a block. Remember, if she's walking well with you, just keep going. This is just general obedience stuff. Am I remembering that correctly? Right? No behavioral stuff, no reactivity, anything like that?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty much general obedience. But you mentioned earlier, I think the confidence, already her anxiety around other dogs is gone significantly down, just our little bit of work with this. So I think with the general obedience, that should hopefully take care of that as well.
Okay.
Build a little confidence.
What do you, like, let's say you pass by someone who has a dog. Does she just like, whatever, does she want to say hi?
She wants to say hi normally, yeah.
Okay,
Depends. I've seen all three.
Yeah.
okay.
Where she'll want to play immediately, where she's a little skittish, and other times where she couldn't care less. So.
Okay. What I would do for this week is when you see someone with their dog, unless there's more snow, how it's usually sidewalk, grass, and then the curb, is if you see a dog coming, for this week, what you'll do is you'll step aside to where the curb is, facing into the sidewalk. You'll reinforce the auto sit. You're then going to shorten your leash. So go ahead and shorten it to where you're close to the collar.
Okay.
A little bit more. About there. Okay? So you're not making it tight.
It's still not tight. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just making it short so that, if she wants to lunge to play or getting skittish, you're limiting her range of motion. So she's not going to get far. Okay? Let's say it's a dog she wants to play with. Instead of pulling back or up and back, you want to just pull straight up. Okay? So by having it shorter, if I pull up, right here, I'm going to make contact. But if I have it slack, I would have to be up here.
Yeah.
But then she has this length of leash to go that way.
Right.
Okay? So whenever you step aside, you're shortening it, and you're just waiting to see what she's going to do. And all we're doing is getting her used to seeing dogs. Okay? Whether she wants to play with them, whether they're making her uncomfortable, she's just going, okay, my job is to just sit here and let them pass. Right? So if you see her give any response that we don't want, it's just up and tap to relax her. Okay? So what we're teaching her is you don't have to always feel skittish. You don't have to always play with the dog. You can just let them pass. Okay? Now let's say it's a neighbor's dog and you would like for her to say hi, you would say break. Okay?
Yeah,
Now
it's
you're
open
saying, now you can do it, right? You wouldn't just let her go on her own accord, because then that again goes against the obedience. You want to make sure it's all permission based. I don't care that she plays with dogs. I just want to make sure that she plays when she knows she's been given permission.
Sure.
Okay?
Makes sense.
Otherwise, when you're walking, you'll see her just randomly dart to go try to trigger a play session when really she should be stuck to your hip in the position of heel.
Yeah.
Okay? So, homework for the week. Practice this. Don't use the collar for anything that we haven't covered. If you see her look apprehensive of the collar or kind of like, ooh, get that away from me, it's normal in the beginning because this is discipline and no one likes discipline. But the more you expose her, the faster she gets over it. Okay? If you want to get her over the collar faster, if needed, you can either give treats when you put it on and when you remove it, or you can have her wear it without, like in the day, during the day, whatever, without using it. She's just having it on for like 30 minutes and then you take it off. You're just exposing her more to it. Okay?
We've been, not using it, but like if I take her over to the park and even playing fetch or something, I've had it on. And if she starts to wander, I've tapped her and she'll come running back. I should stop doing that for the training.
Right. So the concern would be, let's say you tap her when she's wandering and it's an overhit, or like I don't look at the number and it's 100 or something. Is there's gonna be too much power, is she's gonna want to run away from it. Okay? So once we cover recall, which is the come when called, then we're good to use the collar whenever, because I'm not worried about is the dog going to run off. Okay?
That's fine.
Now, if you've already done it, and you've done it
I've probably done it 24 times.
2000.
I got really excited about this. So.
What's your number typically?
25.
25. Okay, I figured because I was at 24 earlier.
That's with a command. That's with a come and a tap, and she will turn around and jog.
Gotcha. What I would do is no word, just a tap, if you're comfortable with it.
I cannot do it. Like it's not.
Is it an enclosed or unenclosed area?
It's an enclosed area.
Then you're fine.
Okay.
That's the worry.
Okay.
Is that you're in an unenclosed area, she takes off, and the thing that's supposed to bring her back is pushing her away.
Okay.
Yeah, so then you're fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So either on a leash or in an unenclosed area, if you're trying to stop something like eating goose poop or running away within like a fenced area, that's all fine. Once we cover the formal recall and stuff, you're gonna have even more freedom with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
But otherwise, this is your homework
But
for the
no
week.
command, yeah. But this is what we're gonna focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so the walks, the auto sits, and then stepping aside, shortening the leash when you see dogs, just to get her used to it, and then we'll start to kind of give more freedoms after she is better trained.
Great.
Okay. Anything else?
You never thought the baseball metaphor?
No.
Seriously? I mean, it seems like it's right there. I don't know.
It seems like it's right there.
I'm just messing with you. Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you.
No, I got something to use now. No.
In the 6 week, will we cover how she's kind of reacted in the house when the people come in?
Oh, sure. What you can do, all right. So that's a separate thing, and yes, we can. Does she bark at people like at the windows and stuff, or?
Yeah, when she's at Dave's parents' house, if there's like a, whoever it is, an electrician or whoever comes into the house.
People are working next door, on the house next door. She will, she will bark.
Okay, if she's in the home and the person is not going to actively come in, so like neighbor or whatever, walking outside, and she's got the collar on, you can use the collar to stop the behavior. She's barking, same concept, 20, 3 taps, bump it, 25, 3 taps, bump it, 30, right, until she stops. Okay, and don't be surprised if you're up there.
Yeah.
Okay, because if she's intense in the behavior, she's being territorial, whatever, you need more power to override. But we start with that, always out with that concept. And if you see like, oh, 65, she shut up on the first tap, then the next time she barks at the window,
Maybe
65.
no one's there. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
When it comes to people entering the home, that's more specific. There's more involved. So we'll set up a session for that. That one we can do as soon as the 3rd session. Typically, it's heal 2 classes, recall 2 classes, and then 5 and 6. Okay, so you can.
We'll see. We can wait till the
Yeah, we
plan.
can see
Yeah,
how
depending on
it
how
goes.
she does. Yeah.
And then I can send you some videos on how to correct barking inside the home without the e-collar, so that you don't become dependent on it. Okay,
Yeah.
so expect to use the e-collar when she's outside or when there's going to be more stimuli.
Sure.
People coming over, she's going to be off leash at the park, all that stuff, right? Because you can't account for life and all that. But when it's inside the home and it's just someone walking past the window that you know she shouldn't bark at, you don't need the collar. There's other means of correction to stop the behavior. Okay, because it's simply just don't bark at the window. But the more specific stuff like the heel and the come and all that requires more work and the definite use of the e-collar. Okay, awesome. Good job, guys.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Right.